Hello dear Madridistas. Football is sometimes a magnificent lie. A carefully maintained illusion, a theatre where certainties are built up only to be shattered. And today, at the heart of this storm of contradictions, stands a giant once believed to be immortal, indestructible, almost divine, Real Madrid. But behind the golden facade, behind the blinding lights of the Santiago Bernabeu, lies a far more brutal, almost unsettling reality. Yes, this 2026 version of Real Madrid is a living paradox. A team capable of humiliating Europe, while dangerously faltering on the domestic stage. From the very first seconds of this season, something felt off. An invisible crack, an almost imperceptible instability. On paper, the squad looked terrifying. Stars, raw talents, players capable of turning a match around in a split second. And yet, match after match, a strange feeling settled in. As if this team wasn't entirely alive. As if it operated without a soul, until Europe, once again, awakens the monster. For that is the madness of this club. Real Madrid doesn't play the Champions League. It owns it, it breathes it dominates it with an almost insolent arrogance. And when the European nights arrive, when the floodlights turn on and the pressure becomes unbearable, this team transforms. It becomes something else. A cold, clinical, ruthless entity. Facing Manchester City, one of modern football's monsters, many expected a war. And they were right, but no one anticipated such a display of mental power. Because this was not just a victory. It was an execution, a message sent to all of Europe. Real Madrid is never dead. It's just waiting for the right moment to strike. Vinícius Júnior, incandescent, almost possessed, embodied that rage. Every acceleration was a provocation. Every dribble, a humiliation. And when the ball hit the back of the net, it wasn't simply a goal. It was a declaration of war. Real Madrid is still here. And it's ready to destroy everything in its path. But here's where the story becomes unsettling. Because while Madrid terrifies Europe, it slowly collapses in Spain. A silent, almost shameful fall. In La Liga, the giant trembles. It doubts. It drops points where it should be crushing opponents. And worse, it gives the impression of a disorganized, sometimes even lost, team. How can such a contradiction be explained? How can a team capable of dominating Manchester City struggle against teams far inferior on paper? The answer is brutal. This Real Madrid is schizophrenic. Two faces, two identities, a war machine in Europe, and a fragile squad in the league. Defeats in domestic competitions have left deep scars. A Copa del Rey elimination that shocked supporters. A lost Supercopa exposing weaknesses. And most worryingly, a lagging position in La Liga, allowing FC Barcelona to take control. For a club used to crushing everything in its path, it's humiliation. And in the shadow of these disappointing results, a bold decision was made. One that shook the club's foundations. The change of coach. A brutal break. An admission of failure. Because when Real Madrid changes its coach mid-season, it is never trivial. It's a signal. A warning cry. Álvaro Arbeloa, a familiar figure of the White House, finds himself thrust into the heart of this chaos. A heavy, almost overwhelming interim. Because managing Real Madrid is not just coaching a team. It's running an institution, under constant pressure, with expectations that forgive nothing. And yet, despite this explosive context, something unexpected happens. The team does not collapse. It resists. It fights. Better still, it seems to find a form of freedom in chaos. As if the absence of certainties allows players to liberate themselves. But beware, because behind this apparent resilience, the management is preparing a revolution. A real one. Brutal. Merciless. Several historical figures are already on the chopping block. Big names. Players who have shaped the club's recent history. And yet, they could be pushed out without hesitation. This is Real Madrid, a club that does not live in the past. A club that sacrifices its heroes if necessary. Because here, only victory matters. Always. No matter the cost. And in this ruthless logic, Even young talents are not untouchable. Eduardo Camavinga, considered the club's future, could also be affected by this wave of changes. A decision that seems incomprehensible, but perfectly illustrates the brutality of the ongoing project. Because Florentino Perez is not building a team. He is building an empire. And in an empire, emotions have no place. Meanwhile, on the pitch, bodies suffer. Injuries accumulate. Kylian Mbappé, a key piece of the project, has just returned from a physical issue. His absence left a massive void. But paradoxically, it also revealed something unexpected. Real Madrid sometimes plays better without him. A disturbing truth. Almost shocking. Because Mbappé is not supposed to be a problem. He is supposed to be the solution. And yet, his integration raises questions. Real questions. About team balance. About the collective. About the style of play. Is Real Madrid becoming dependent on individual talents? Or worse, are these individuals preventing the team from functioning properly? These questions burn. They unsettle. But they are essential. And amid this turmoil, a new generation begins to emerge. Hungry youngsters, ready to do anything for their chance. Thiago Pitach, unknown just months ago, symbolizes this wave. A new energy. A freshness that contrasts with the prevailing tension. But let's be clear, at Real Madrid, opportunities are rare. And the pressure is crushing. One bad match, one mistake, and everything can collapse. This is the reality of this club. Constant demand, constant warfare, an environment where only the strongest survive. And yet, despite all this, despite the criticism, despite the doubts, despite internal tensions, Real Madrid stands tall. Better still, it remains terrifying. Because as long as the Champions League exists, as long as European nights continue to ignite stadiums, Real Madrid will have a reason to believe. A reason to fight. A reason to dream. And perhaps that is the most frightening part. Because even when it is injured, even when it doubts, even when it seems on the brink of collapse, Real Madrid is never truly dead. It waits, always, for the perfect moment to strike. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos.